My name is Robtel Neajai Pailey. I am a Liberian academic, activist, and author. I'm also assistant professor in international social and public policy at the London School of Economics and Political Science. My forthcoming book with Cambridge University Press, which will be published in January 2021, Development, Dual Citizenship and Its Discontents in Africa, the Political Economy of Belonging to Liberia, examines constructions and practices of Liberian citizenship across space and time, and their myriad implications for development. Now, development is defined as broader processes of political, economic, social, and technological change. Now, moving to the case study of Liberia, Liberia was Africa's first Black republic, established in 1847. And as a result, it was really the first country in the continent of Africa to devise legal norms around citizenship, identity, and belonging. Contemporarily, Liberia is one of 7 countries in Africa that does not officially recognize dual citizenship. The other 6 are Cameroon, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. Now, Liberia tried to buck this outlier status by introducing its own dual citizenship proposed bill in 2008. However, the bill was never passed. It actually lingered in legislative limbo for an entire decade. My book investigates 2 things. The first is, why was this bill introduced in the first place? And it was introduced to address the needs of Liberians by birth who may have naturalized abroad during, before, or after our protracted 14-year armed conflict, or those who now have aspirations to. It was also introduced to enable Liberians by ancestry born abroad who want to retain their Liberian citizenship after the age of majority, age of 21. The bill was introduced to recognize that Liberians abroad have actually been very instrumental as political, economic, and social actors. So through their remittances, Liberians abroad sometimes remit millions of dollars that actually rival our cash-based budget. Now, those Liberians abroad have also been very important in lobbying for the cessation to our armed conflict. The book also investigates why the bill was suspended. Now, many Liberians at home view the bill as a zero-sum game, as infringing upon their already very limited access to political, economic, and social rights, and as privileging of seemingly privileged group of transnational actors like diasporas. They believe that the bill will actually deepen inequalities in the country. Now, beyond the bill, my book also asks broader questions about what does it actually mean to be a citizen of a post-war country? What I discovered throughout my research is that Liberians think of citizenship as more than just identity. They think of citizenship as a set of practices. So in terms of investment practices, in terms of building Liberian capacities, in terms of being politically engaged as voters, as politicians. They also think of Liberian citizenship as a set of relations, not only a set of relations between government and citizen, but also citizen and citizen. My book asks broader questions about whether there's actually a symbiotic relationship between dual citizenship and development. Does dual citizenship actually lead to socioeconomic transformation is a question that I try to tackle in this research. Now, this book is fundamentally about contrast between citizens, non-citizens, would-be dual citizens. It's a book about contrast between the powerful and the powerless. It's a book about contrast between the included and the excluded, between highly skilled as well as semi-skilled, between the prosperous and the poor, between men and women, between the young and the old. The book is also about how people's very different socioeconomic positions and lived experiences impact how they view citizenship, how they practice citizenship, how they view development, and how they practice development. Now, there's a really surging debate within development about whether or not we should focus on examining inequalities within or between countries. Now, what I do in this book is I reconcile this debate by examining inequalities within and between countries, using citizenship as a lens of analysis. Now, many scholars have argued that citizenship is actually multi-layered, and it's differentiated based on people's gender, based on their age, based on their class, based on their ethnicity, based on their race, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those who sometimes formally are considered citizens actually do not benefit or experience the institution of citizenship similarly. They actually experience it differently based on these social qualifiers. Now, what I do is I look at citizenship tiers within Liberia. So again, all those who are considered Liberians by citizenship do not necessarily formally benefit equally from the privileges and the protections of citizenship. So I can think specifically about an ethnic group called the Mandingos. The Mandingos have ancestral lineage to different parts of West Africa. They're considered to be a migratory group of people. And as a result of that, many citizens in Liberia, even though the Mandingos are officially citizens, they consider the Mandingos to be non-citizens or strangers. My book is intended to reach and to galvanize a conversation amongst Liberians first and foremost. This is a book about Liberia, by a Liberian, and for Liberians. I fundamentally think of myself as a facilitator of a conversation amongst Liberians about what does it mean to be a citizen and how do you practice that citizenship, both domestically, but also transnationally. I bring into dialogue Liberians of different lived experiences and socioeconomic backgrounds. I excavate the research of Liberian scholars who have been deliberately silenced or preferably unheard. And these are scholars who have been talking about the formation of the Liberian state. They've been talking about citizenship construction and practices. They've been talking about the process of post-war reconstruction. But very few scholars who write and research about Liberia cite these scholars. So it's my intention in this book and in this research to excavate the lived experiences and the research and the scholarship of these very important knowledge producers on Liberia.